Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we got the part 2 of the Guardians of the Galaxy update sneak peek, kicking off with Groot and a surprise guest. Over on Twitter, I am Groot. 2 more Guardians are ready to return to battle, inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, before I show you guys this sneak peek, I just want to talk a little bit about the schedule for the channel over the next couple of weeks, because I'm actually going to be going on vacation, and I'm actually going to be going on vacation. Unfortunately, the flight specifically is on the exact same day, basically the exact same time that the update will be live. So I will literally be 100% unable to stream because I will be 30,000 feet in the air when the update goes live. So I apologize for that, but I'll try to have content for you guys as soon as stuff comes out. But this is going to be the first update that we're going to have to skip a live stream for in the last little while. I think maybe I skipped a live stream for like Storm and Iceman when they came out or something like that. But anywho, not an intentional thing, just what ended up happening. It turns out Netmarble loves to update their games on Tuesdays, and Tuesdays tend to be days when flights are really cheap. So hey, it just happens to unfortunately line up together. So yeah, it won't be a live stream for this update here, this little mid-month update, but hopefully it is really good and we have a lot to talk about. So let's check out the sneak peek. I actually really like the sneak peek. So we got Groot, and we got a little letter to someone, and then we got Groot walking around, and then he releases. Groot looks funny. He releases subject 4, which obviously means tier 4. If that wasn't apparent. And it's not Adam Warlock, it's Gamora. Hey, yo. So I feel a bit torn about this. On the one hand, I'm really happy for Gamora, and I'm also really happy that Adam Warlock enjoyers did not get what they wanted. A lot of people told me 6 months ago that Adam Warlock is absolutely getting a tier 4 and it's guaranteed and yada yada yada. And now I get to point and laugh at them, so that's pretty sick. But I also feel bad because I didn't mention Gamora I didn't mention that there was a possibility that Gamora would get a tier 4 in a uniform in the Transcendent Selector video. So I ranked her pretty low, not as low as Drax, of course, but I ranked her pretty low, and I forgot to mention that in that video. So I do apologize for not mentioning that, but hey, if you didn't have Gamora transcended before, you have a really good reason to transcend her now, ahead of her tier 4 coming out soon. So let's take a look at the sneak peek again here. I actually really like the sneak peek. I think there's a lot of Easter eggs and things in it. I also think the people who made the Easter egg already saw the movie, which I really love. Not that there's anything like spoilery, by the way, just that like it feels like they watched the movie, if that makes sense. So he writes here on this letter, Gamora, I know you don't remember much, but here's a plant to make you feel at home here. Groot left detailed care instructions. I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot. Now originally, here's the funny thing. And it's Star-Lord's headphones with the cassette. Originally, I thought the arrow to the T and the fact that there's 3 I am Groots meant tier 3 for Rocket, tier 3 for Groot. I thought that was the tier 3 sneak peek. But then, if you keep watching and you just pause right here, it's literally right here on the wall, T3. And I don't know if the lighting doesn't get any better, right? But yeah, it's literally right there, T3. The T is on the left. 3 is on the right, and then another little sneak peek that you can see, and I think you see this from the trailer, so it's again not a spoiler, but Groot is clearly holding something in his hands. You don't see it later on in the sneak peek, but he's clearly holding Star-Lord's element guns, which should make for a very cool skill. If you've seen the trailers or if you've seen the movie, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, Groot looks really good. You got subject 4 here. Interestingly enough, I think that they made this sneak peek with Adam Warlock in mind. Like, if you had to ask me who is this going to be without knowing that it's Gamora, I would say it's Adam, because it seems like it's Adam, right? There's like a pod that he has to be released from. There's all this technology. There's no name. It's just subject 4, right? So we know that the Sovereign made Adam Warlock, and he's like the pinnacle of their race. So it kind of... I wonder if they made 2 versions of this sneak peek. One version where it was Gamora and one version where it was Adam, and then they just decided to go with Gamora instead. But yeah, pretty huge that Gamora is getting a tier 4 A bit of an unlikely character, I would say, but on the other hand, I think it's very sweet that Gamora and Star-Lord have tier 4. They're sort of like sweethearts, you know, they have this this romance going on for a long time now. So I think that's pretty cute that they both got tier 4. So yeah, that's pretty dope. Over on the forums, if we go to the forums, we can see that they said more superheroes will join the new journey of the Guardians of the Galaxy team. The Assassin, Gamora, and the Powerful Tree, which is Groot. Check out the new look and powers of these heroes, the most dangerous assassin of the universe, and the tree creature with great power. We will announce more information through the patch details later. So this sentence right here is, you know, 99% of the time their indication that there's no more sneak peeks. There's just going to be one sneak peek. No more uniforms. No chance for now. No chance for Cosmo. No chance for Nebula to get a uniform. No chance for Adam to get a uniform. I would honestly love to see Cosmo as a playable character. I think that's a bit far-fetched, but I also think it would be really, really dope. But yeah, Gamora and Groot, G and G. Pretty interesting combo. I have to say, I want to talk about Gamora first. Gamora probably poses the more interesting upgrade, and actually probably was from the get-go, despite not being considered by very many people who were all basically only banking on Star-Lord or Adam or both, simply because she has a villain uniform, right? The Requiem uniform makes her a villain. So in a lot of the same way, in some of the same ways, I would say, she has the flexibility, or she has the potential for the flexibility of a character like Iron Man. If they make her tier 4 strong enough, and if they make it flexible enough in the sense of it having both offense and defense, again, like Iron Man's, I think she could be a really interesting tier 4. However, on the flip side, I have to be honest and say that another alien tier 4 in a game where alien types are not really well represented in terms of content, where it's needed for them to be aliens, does make me question where her value is really going to come from. Because if you take a look at the schedules for ABX and ABL, there is no place. There is a place for villains, okay? And there is a place for speed females, and there's also a place for speed villains. Like there's, you know, it's speed female and villain females. There are definitely places where Gamora can fit, right? There's also this supervillain alien that she could fit into. However, we already have a lot of options for these different categories. Speed female is probably the weakest one, but I think a lot of people are still just holding their breath waiting for Luna Snow, which is fair. And Luna Snow, like Shadow Shell and like others, has the benefit of being a human rather than an alien, which makes them, and make Luna and the others, much better off, much better positioned for World Boss, right? There's so many more World Boss stages, and you can especially see it at the beginning where they target humans, right? If you go past 15, you can see human is a very popular tag. Alien is not. Alien is just straight up not a popular tag. Now, maybe a future World Boss Legend or some other future content may change that and highlight aliens, but I honestly think for the number of aliens we have at high rank, I do think the devs need to tinker with the content a little bit and introduce more content that's tailored to aliens. Because if you take a look here, we already have 4 tier 4 aliens. That's a lot, and we're about to get we already have 3, and we're about to get number 4, right? So already having 4 tier 4 aliens is a big deal. And so I do wish that there was more content that they were uniquely suited for, or that sort of was restricted to aliens, so that we could see them shine a little bit more. But I am questioning, as a speed female alien, you know, even with the versatility between hero and villain, it's going to be a question. But there's a possibility, which is really cool, that instead of getting Luna, let's say, or Black Widow for ABX female, and then having to get Green Goblin for speed villain ABX, you could just tier 4 Gamora. So there is a value proposition there no matter what. So despite me saying that I don't think she's going to be as valuable as she could be, she is still very valuable. Again, because of the fact that she has this uniform, and presumably, right, she can score pretty well. She can score between 9 and 10 million with this uniform solo, especially considering she has a self-buffing lead and all that. I think a tier 4 would easily help her crack 12, or very, very close to 12, with no buffs to this uniform. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. It'll be interesting to see what they do with her, if they make her PvE, PvP oriented. I think it would be very likely, let me just put this out there, if Gamora comes out and she's very obviously PvP focused, then I think there's a strong possibility that the next tier 4 is Luna, and that she'll be PvE oriented. And it'll basically follow the same pattern as they did with Spider-Man and Ant-Man, where they released Spider-Man and we knew they were going to release Ant-Man. And because Spider-Man was so heavily leaning towards PvP, it was basically a shoo-in that Ant-Man wouldn't be, because they don't want that much overlap with characters that are essentially the same. Now, Luna and Gamora aren't essentially the same because of typing in terms of alien versus human and in terms of their abilities, but otherwise, they're pretty damn close. So that's kind of the feeling for Gamora. I hope she's better than I'm expecting, and that I hope that she does find a place for herself in the meta. But I do think the devs still have a lot of work to do in shaping the meta and not just shaping it around human heroes, because by and large the meta is shaped right now by human heroes and mutants, and then just overpowered, just like straight up overpowered characters. And yeah, if they make Gamora just straight up overpowered, she'll be meta, sure, but that only goes so far. Whereas tailoring content, like let's say Kang World Boss Legend had a lot of stages where you needed to use aliens, or maybe you couldn't use humans at all versus Kang for whatever reason. That would make it much more interesting and make it much more appealing to get a character like Gamora, like Star-Lord, to tier 4. As far as Groot is concerned, I think people are going to tier 3 him, and again, it's tier 3 is a much lower investment than tier 4. I think people are going to tier 3 him regardless. He has a lot of value and a lot of flexibility given the fact that he's seen so many uniforms, and in particular this one that has that crazy heal. Depending on how good they make Groot and depending on how much of a utility they give him, despite how shit my build is, he could absolutely come back as far as being an option for Otherworld Battle and these types of group PvP game modes. Because if he can drop a group heal, I didn't say a Groot heal, by the way, I said a group heal. That's a really big deal. Back in the day, right, Groot, because he revives, and because he had this crazy third skill where he would drop a heal circle for everyone on his team, this was big, right? This lasted so long, and you can see when you're in it, it heals you, right? It ticks and ticks and ticks and heals you. That's pretty major. That's pretty major. So if they make Groot good enough, and they make him, meta enough, I could definitely see it coming back in a big way. Now, keep in mind, Groot is originally a combat type. That's his OG typing. So as you can see here, despite being a speed here, he needs the combat enhancement materials, or alternatively just use a ticket. They're not that, they're not that rare once you start farming story mode enough. But yeah, I have to fix up my build. It's atrocious right now, but make sure you have 10 combat books, not speed books, combat books set up for Groot in case you want to tier 3 him right away. But yeah, it should be quite interesting. He still has a passive. I think a lot of people forget this as well. He still retains this passive where allies that get hit, I think it's on his uniform, heal. No? Did they take it? Did they remove it with the new? No, here, it says tier 2 passive. When hit, heal 20% with a 15-second cooldown. Again, if they do something like this, even if they don't give him a heal skill, if they tweak this ability and the cooldown is like 5 seconds and the heal is like whatever 30% over 2 seconds or something like that, again, they could make an argument for him being a great addition to your roster for something like Otherworld Battle, because of access to that healing is so massive. So yeah, keep that in mind. Hopefully we'll see some pretty interesting stuff from Gamora and Groot. Let me know what you guys think. RIP for the time being, to Nebula and Adam, but hey, it is what it is. Thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.